you don't have a content problem. You have a voice problem. Let me explain. It's not that you're bad with content. It's just when it comes to you using your voice on social media, even YouTube, you start to sound like you're in the office. Clinical jargon comes out and more. There's a story that may help you out. I remember I could be in the background helping tons of people marketing, giving them tips on how to frame their message, how to post, when to post, what platforms to use, doing all of that stuff. And I loved it. I still love it. I was doing all of that, and I realized when it came time for me to do it for myself, every excuse came up. Drew, your teeth are too big. Drew, you don't speak English as well as somebody else. You don't have 80 degrees. You are a darker man. Every excuse possible came up. Shame came up. Guilt came up. All sorts of stuff came up. But what it really boiled down to was I needed to get comfortable using my voice. I needed to get comfortable marketing myself. This is one that I hear from therapists all the time. I can market someone else's business. I can market somebody else's practice. When it comes time for me to do it, Drew, I totally freeze up. So one day I decided I'm going to create a podcast. I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. And I said, I'm just going to create this podcast as a journal for right now. I'm going to create it in a way where I just speak. I don't have to be perfect. I don't need the perfect equipment. I started it with my phone. And what happened is I started to unlock something that I didn't know was locked, which was my voice. And clarity started to happen over and over again the more I shot uh, podcast episodes. They were short, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, some 10 minutes, some 15 minutes. But what I realized was this podcast was actually unlocking way more than I thought. So I started helping other therapists and other coaches launch their podcast. And I said, hey, take the pressure off of trying to manually shoot a 1 minute video every day. And let's just think about shooting a 5 to 7 minute video once a week. Once we started doing that, I would take that 5 to 7 minute video and I would turn it into weeks of content. I would have parts of their videos going out on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. I would have part of their writing going out on LinkedIn and their email list, or if they had a newsletter and even Facebook. And I would just draw so much stuff out of that podcast. Now, what had happened was the therapists loved it because they were only doing about 5 to 15 minutes of work per week. But they got clear, they had tons of content. And that made me just really lean into helping therapists and coaches not only just clarify your message, after you clarify it, you want a system so that you don't have to keep shooting a 1 minute video every day. That's when we started to help them having the clarity, the system, and that became the engine for their business. Now, with all of that, they also started to realize, hey, now that I'm clear on what I'm saying, I realized I was never really missing the information. I had the knowledge, I had the schooling. I just was trying to speak like someone in a school setting, where I was trying to speak as if I was talking to another colleague. And it's not dumbing it down, it's more so making it so simple, so clear that a 10-year-old could understand that. Once I started to do that, I realized more therapists needed a podcast because therapists have a way of understanding the root of something and giving a solution that people can do until they are able to do the deeper work. And what I've seen through social media is that people are calling everything trauma. The hard decision means you have trauma. A bad day means you have trauma. And that's not true. Therapists have a way of showing people some decisions are just hard. Some days are just hard. Some seasons are just rough. Everything isn't trauma. Or the flip side, the reason why you struggle to make decisions, the reason why you need everybody else's validation before you make a decision might be a lack of self-trust. And how do we build that? So we use those podcasts to share tips, to share information with their audience. Alongside of that, if they're a therapist or a coach, people can now book them because now the person feels that they know them. If you've ever gone to like some of the popular therapist sites where you can just check out the therapist you want, you have to do a lot of scrolling. You got to do a lot of weeding out to get to the person who you actually want to work with. And with all of that, by the time you finish, you're like, I don't know who I want. So we made it simple for them. Let's clarify your message. Let's give you a system that works for you. And let's position you to keep getting clients. Does that sound like something that can help you? If so, click the link in the show notes. I'd love to help you, love to work with you to get your message out to the right people and the clients coming to you. Be good. Be great.